Let's go. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This special meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the schedule of the meetings of the Township Council, established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule to designate the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We're using electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record, and request all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly to the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, Madam, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Ms. Grace? Here. Mrs. Albright Troxel? Here. Mrs. Stubbs?
She will not be attending. She had an emergency.
Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Parliament?
Here.
Mr. Cardis?
Here.
Deputy Chief Manazzi?
Here.
Mr. Petrangelo?
Here. When I have the first public portion, this is for agenda items only. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Mr. Polidoro. Yeah, I understand. Mr. Polidoro, we have one ordinance here. There is a public hearing for that. Do you have questions regarding this ordinance?
It can wait.
Okay. Anyone else in the public portion? Goes first public portion. Ordinance 0-22-23, an ordinance amending the land development ordinance of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, in the state of New Jersey to allow warehouse distribution and fulfillment centers as conditionally permitted uses within certain zoning districts and redevelopment areas, and adopt new conditional use standards. I want to highlight some of the things in this ordinance, so bear with me. New Jersey State Planning Commission recently adopted guidelines for distribution, warehousing, and good movement guidelines on September 7th, 2022, to encourage interagency, municipal, and county cooperation and coordination to coordinate warehouse and logistics industry needs in suitable locations while taking into consideration for residents, economic and environmental sustainability, and benefits in public health. The township desires to regulate the use of warehouse distribution fulfillment facilities as conditionally permitted uses within the GI, General Industry District, and Business Park District, as well as the New Vision redevelopment area and Glen Oaks redevelopment area, and develop new conditional use standards. There are certain amendments, Section 1, to remove Section 417B12 of the permitted uses and replace with the following: wholesale establishments. B, to amend Section 417D to add the following as a conditional use: warehouse distribution fulfillment centers in accordance with Section 427 of the Land Development Ordinance. Section 2, Article 4, Section 14 of the Land Development Ordinance shall be amended as follows: to remove Section 418B, to remove item 8, warehousing and or distribution of goods and materials, building area not to exceed 50,000 square feet. Amend Section 418D4 to remove and replace with the following as a conditional use: warehouse distribution fulfillment centers as conditional use in accordance with Section 427 of Land Development Ordinance. Section 3, Article 9, Zone Plan and Zoning Regulations of the New Vision Redevelopment Plan shall be amended to amend Section 418A B2 to remove item warehousing and distribution. Amend Section 3, Conditional Uses, to include the following: warehouse distribution fulfillment centers as conditional use in accordance with Section 427 of the Land Development Ordinance. Section 4, to amend Section 9 of the Zone Plan and Zoning Regulations of the Glen Oaks Redevelopment Area Plan to be amended as follows: amend Section D to remove item G, warehousing distribution, to be replaced with warehouse distribution fulfillment centers shall be conditionally permitted use in accordance with Section 427 of the Land Development Ordinance. Section 5, to amend Article 4 of the Gloucester Township Land Development Ordinance to add the following: warehouse distribution fulfillment centers, Section 427, permitted zoning districts. A, warehouse distribution warehouse distribution and fulfillment center shall be conditionally permitted uses within the GI, general industry, and BP, business park zoning districts, as well as within the new Vision redevelopment area and Glen Oaks redevelopment area in accordance with the conditions outlined below. There are certain standards and area bulk standards to comply, which such use is permitted under, and there's site development standards. And some of those site development standards are distance from residential zones and uses include schools, daycare centers, places of worship, hospitals, community centers, and parks measured from the property line to property line. So a major distribution center, fulfillment center, 1,000 feet. Last mile fulfillment center, micro fulfillment center, 500 feet. Landscaping and buffering, off-street loading should comply with off-street loading requirements. Off-street parking should comply with 510 of the off-street parking requirements. Lighting. In addition, there's operational standards to prohibit outdoor loading activities conducted between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. that exceed 50 dBA of the community noise equivalent level. They should not operate speakers that exceed a 45 dBA sound level within 1,500 of residential property between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. Off-peak good movements and staggered shifts should be implemented to minimize traffic impacts. Idling of heavy equipment for more than 10 minutes should be prohibited. In addition, when a site plan is submitted, a written description of the proposed use and operation should include the number of employees and users, hours of operation, frequency of deliveries, distribution, the proposed number of shifts, expected truck and trail traffic, safety hazards, emission of noise, glare, variation, heat, odor, air, and water pollution. A traffic and road impact analysis should be included and comply with the traffic report requirements. Traffic studies should include truck and automobile trip generations through the day, both peak and off-peak hours. Traffic studies, roadway configuration, and a noise impact assessment. That's a lot, but we'll now open up the public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wish to speak, please raise your hand. Mr. Palmer.
Council President, members of council. I just wanted to confirm that the planning board had reviewed this proposed ordinance and determined that it is consistent with our.
Thank you, Mr. Petrino. Mr. Palmer.
Sorry for you.
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidor from the Historic Village of Ariel. It looks like a good ordinance. The question that I have is why the necessity for a special meeting, why this could not wait till the next meeting? What was the sense of urgency that we needed to be here tonight, that we couldn't be here to discuss this at the next meeting?
I wanted to move this forward. I think this was important to move forward.
Okay.
We are seeing an inordinate amount of warehouse applications throughout the state of New Jersey. And I think that this is important that we should move forward with it. So we're here and we advertise this and made this available. It's been properly advertised, and I think that was important that we had a special meeting.
Was this something that you could have foreseen before the two applications that come in? Because it almost would be like the closing the barn doors after the horses are out.
This is something that those applications, correct me if I'm wrong, those applications were in prior to the September 7th recommendations by the state.
That is correct.
Yes. So, but we've seen this proliferation of warehouses throughout the state of New Jersey. I think this provides us to add some teeth to our ordinance and ensures that that our residents live in the community that's desirable and we can coexist. But let's put those parameters in place.
Okay, and again, it looks and sounds like a good ordinance. Who wrote or authored the ordinance?
Mr. Petrangelo helped with the ordinance.
Thank you. At this time, does council or you're the Mr. Petrangelo's planner?
Yes.
Planner. Any other warehouse projects in the works and conference are being discussed about while this ordinance is being passed, is being discussed?
I'm not aware of it, Mr.
I'm not
Petrangelo.
aware of
Okay.
nothing new coming before the board recently.
Okay. And can council or anyone think of any other space within our township that you could possibly put any other warehouses?
Not off the top of my head. I don't know what their needs would be.
Okay. And would that fall, would this be a discussion for the Department in Development?
Just apologize for that. Are you asking if there's any land within the township that would be suitable for a warehouse?
Yes.
So what this ordinance does is, look, there's open land in the town. Somebody can obviously make an application. What this ordinance does is makes warehouses conditional uses. So it gives the town and the board more control. They're no longer considered permitted uses, so somebody can come in and say, I conform with the ordinance, you have to approve.
Okay.
This
The
makes the
open,
conditions. Now you have to meet all the conditions.
the open land you're speaking of, is that already preserved open space that we're referring to?
No preserved open space can be used for warehouses.
Okay. And I guess the other question would be is, will we ever get to meet Mr. Pirelli on matters that have to do with our township?
Again, this is the
It-
planning.
was that your
issue.
request?
We addressed it at the last time. Thank you, Mr. Bob.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am?
Hello.
If you could please come to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Hello. My name is Christina Clark with an E. My husband and I, we're here as being one of the recipients of the certified mail. I recently found out that why we got the certified letter and not all of the neighbors was because evidently it directly affects us. We're
Before
at
you-
20.
Okay, Ms. Clark, before you continue, okay? So this is a ordinance, where it's a second reading of an ordinance for a proposal to curb warehouse usage, make it a conditional use in our town. This is not about the application for Cyclaville Road or for the area behind the Lowe's and Target area. Is that what you're speaking about? Because we can't talk about this is not about those existing applications. We're approving an ordinance, so a law that helps us make warehousing conditional uses here in the township.
Okay, so that will be another opportunity, or will there be another opportunity for public to ask some questions? Because it was canceled November the 9th.
Yeah, those questions will take place.
At the board hearings. So the
Okay.
Cyclaville sites will be before the zoning board. They have postponed. They will have to re-advertise.
Okay,
Will be renoticed of that meeting.
Okay.
The site behind, I'm not sure which one you're asking about, the other site behind Target,
we're in terrestrial.
excuse me.
We're in
Oh, okay.
terrestrial.
So.
Because someone in the development,
So Cyclaville Road is the
suggested-
one that-
yeah, they suggested that we
Golf
come.
course.
Yes, the golf course.
And that will be renoticed.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Mr. Burns?
Good evening, Council. Brian Burns from Ariel.
Good evening.
I just wanted to bring to your attention, I have a source who actually he's a surveyor. He does nothing but warehouses. I ran into him over the weekend, and he said that they're going to be drawing up plans for the piece of property by Jamestown Square Apartments, right by the 42 Horn Ramp by Highland High School.
Okay.
So just want to make that public knowledge that one is in the works.
For a warehouse at Jamestown Square Apartments.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
looking at the GPS right now, it's a big track of.
I run that about 5 days a week. So you have Jamestown Square Apartments, you have the restaurant there on the corner, so now Mexican restaurant, I haven't tried it yet. Then there's Napa next to it, and then there is a gas station that's been vacant. There's not much space there to put anything there.
I'm looking at it, you want to take a look at it.
Okay.
It's a pretty significant piece of ground. It's adjacent, it's between 42 and there's a public storage area there.
Used to be a hockey.
Yeah,
But you have
It's behind the apartment.
yeah.
I know Run, that particular area. Yep.
Mhm.
My understanding is that property, and I don't understand completely, but it qualified for farm preservation or some type of farming, that the families were bickering about the property. And it ended up getting classified in a way that they wouldn't have to pay the higher taxes on it. So I don't know if that can be lifted.
let's inquire about it, okay?
Again, it is an application that may or may not be coming forward. Apparently, somebody's in the process of surveying the property.
Okay.
That's beyond step one. That's even sooner than.
So, I mean,
We have nothing before us to comment on.
I mean, with that in mind, I mean, this is a good ordinance. But as Ray said, it's kind of closing the barn door. It's not too late. I mean, there is some land left. But it would have avoided a lot of the issues that are taking place right now with the freeway and the Target.
Proactive with this ordinance, actually, frankly. One of the municipalities I represent, this is the first municipality coming forward to effectuate these standards.
Yeah, I mean, if you read, I'm sure maybe not, every council person should have read the entire thing from start to finish. I digested it in the last couple of days. And according to what's in here, we could have avoided a lot of public uprising based on what's currently happening. But I guess at some point in time, it will be resolved before the zoning board.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I entertain a motion. So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison,
Yes.
Ms. Grace. Yes. Mrs. Albright Troxel. Yes. Mrs. Winters. Yes. Mr. Young.
Yes.
Mr. Mercado.
Yes. We now have our second public portion. Anyone wish to speak on any item? Close second public portion. We did not receive any emails. Polling of directors.
Mr. Carlino.
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis.
Nothing to report.
Deputy Chief Manazzi. Mr. Petrangelo.
Nothing to report.
Mr. Hutchison.
Thank you for coming.
Ms. Grace. Happy holidays. Mrs. Albright Troxel.
Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your turkey.
Mrs. Winters. Mr. Mignon.
Thank you all for coming and happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Mercado.
Thank you for coming out this evening. Entertain a motion to adjourn. There's a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a great evening, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. Happy holidays.
Good night, guys. Have a good Thanksgiving. Good night, you too.